always a great day when it's a closing day. So today I have 2 closings, and I was having a conversation not so long ago with a realtor in my area, and we were talking about closings, and this realtor mentioned to me that their closing rate is about 50% of the contracts that he gets under contract. That absolutely baffled my mind, and thank God we were on the phone, because I am a face maker and I'm sure my jaw would have dropped to the floor. Listen, there's a whole lot that goes into getting something from contract all the way to the closing table. But the smartest thing that you can do as a buyer or a seller is align yourself with a real estate agent that you know closes lots and lots of deals, closes lots and lots and lots of transactions. Because what happens is, the more you close transactions, the more you learn as a real estate agent those things to do to make sure that not only does it go into contract, but it gets all the way to the closing table. And I'm telling you, there are so many little silly things that can make something fall apart. I close 99% of my deals that go under contract. 99%. I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal, and I consider it a loss. So what goes into those things, making sure that they go from contract all the way to the closing table, is a lot of being proactive, having good conversations with your sellers and your buyers. For example, with sellers, what I always say to my sellers is, we want to be as proactive as humanly possible on the front end to prepare your home to hit the market, so that when it goes under inspection or that it goes up for appraisal, everything's good, right? And so maybe there are going to be some little things that get flagged. Of course, there's no such thing as a perfect house, but that comes by telling the seller, listen, be prepared. I don't care how perfect you think your home is, there are going to be things wrong with it, and the buyer has the right to ask you to fix some things, to ask you to reduce the price, to ask you to pay closing costs, all the things. But that comes with, as a realtor, letting the sellers know up front, this is what it's going to be. I absolutely pride myself on not sugarcoating anything. I don't see myself as a salesman, and lots of people see realtors as salesmen. Shame on you if you're seen as a salesman. I am not seen as a salesman, because I am very much going to be upfront from the beginning. I'm not sugarcoating it, right? So with the seller, letting them know up front what to expect, letting them know that after inspections we're going to be negotiating again if major things are found, and if there's a lot of minor things, right? From the buyer's standpoint, what are some things that could go south really quickly? Number one, if you're a buyer, we are never putting anything under contract unless you can prove that you can buy the house, right? So you have a pre-approval letter, and if you're financing the house, for the amount that you plan to pay for the house, or if you're paying cash, you have proof of funds. So I don't care if you are my neighbor or my cousin or my uncle or whoever you are. If you want to go look at houses, you're going to be pre-approved, or you're going to have proof of funds, right? So when it goes under contract, that's going to be one reason that it can't fall apart, because you know what your monthly note is going to look like up front, right? I see lots of people talk about how, their clients thought they were pre-approved for a certain amount, or they were pre-approved months ago and they thought their note was this amount back then. Well, guess what? Things change. Things absolutely change. With the interest rate changes, with more debt taken on, there's all kinds of different things that can affect your monthly note. Lots of times I see things go into contract, not with me, but with other people. The buyers don't know that the home they're under contract with is in a zone that requires a substantial amount of flood insurance. That is something I will always tell buyers before we step foot on the property. This house is in an area where flood insurance is going to be required, and before we step foot on the property, if they're not even sure if they want to pay that extra amount, we're getting a quote on flood insurance, right? So all of those things that go into play on the front end to keep it from falling apart later. I've heard about deals falling through because a realtor went and showed a house to clients, and this happens all the time, and they didn't check the flood zone, and the flood insurance was outrageous. And so guess what? If your note that you were anticipating to be this amount was this amount with no flood insurance, just imagine how much that monthly note is going up with flood insurance. It can go up $100, $200, $300, $400 a month depending on what zone you're in. So being totally proactive on the front end, there's so many things that can prevent a deal from going south once it's under contract. And the number one main thing that you should do as a buyer or a seller is align yourself with a real estate agent in your area who closes lots and lots and lots of transactions. Because listen, the more transactions we close, the better we're going to be at predicting things that can happen to affect something and to make it fall apart before it ever gets to the closing table. A lot of times I hear situations where realtors make the deal fall apart. So what I pride myself on in this area is I'm friends with all of the realtors in our area. I'm friends with everybody, and I'm not burning any bridges, because I guarantee you the likelihood is that if I close a deal with someone this week or last month, I'm going to see that person again in a few months, and we're going to close another deal. So we are going to play well together so that the deal gets to the closing table. I may not like them at all. That is not important, and they're never going to know that, because we're going to get to the closing table. So make sure you choose a realtor in your area who you know is professional and kind and doesn't like drama and isn't going to make all kinds of mizah for the clients, right? So if there's drama during the transaction, I guarantee you my clients are not going to know that there's any kind of drama at all, because I'm going to handle it. I am going to handle the negotiations. I'm going to handle the other side, and you, if you're the seller or the buyer, are probably never even going to know that there was drama with the other side, because the main goal is to get to the closing table. So all of that stuff that could happen to make it go south is going to be handled on the front end. So today is a closing day. I represent two different buyers on this deal, two different houses. No, actually, one's a buyer and one's a seller. One's a buyer, one's a seller. I don't have a preference, but listen, if you're thinking about buying or selling and you're not sure what realtor to choose, ask your realtor how many deals have they closed in the last 6 months, and how many have they gotten under contract, but what number fell apart. And if that number, oh gosh, listen, I'm telling you, I close 99% of my deals. So I would say if they say anything less than 90% falls apart, you need to look for a different realtor, because there's no reason that many deals should fall apart if you're being proactive on the front end. Your realtor should close most of the deals that go under contract. That's a good realtor, right? Y'all have a great day, and remember this, in real estate, there are no stupid questions. If you are thinking about buying or selling, give a realtor in your area a call who you know, like, and trust, and who you know is going to answer all your questions. Y'all have a great weekend. Take care.